Hey everybody, so Kelly here, just getting ready to sit down here. I just wanted to show you my couple of little quilts that I've been working on. So, and by working on, it was really like one morning. This is not like it took me a tremendous amount of time. But I had these two quilt panels, and I think the last time I did a video I was showing the panel, but I wasn't sure what I was going to do around the outside, so I just wanted to show that here at the beginning, and that I've got the tops done, but I still need to come up with some backings for them. And I had considered previously the fact that I might actually put them back to back, but I actually am going to make two different quilts. And I've got a pretty good idea who they're potentially going to go to next year. So, I got to get that done here pretty quickly, or at least get an idea of the backings, and then I'll probably set it aside and continue working on them later this year. So, how has everybody been? I actually, with the new year, decided to do 12 by 12 on New Year's Eve. For cross stitch. So I worked on 12 different projects that I've got going. I didn't get very much done because I took 12 hours and did 12 by 12, and in those 12 hours, if you do 12 projects and so an hour per project, a lot of that is taken up by housework and just taking a nap, all those sorts of things. So I didn't get a lot of progress on the different projects, but I got a little bit, and so I thought I'd share that. So I actually have a little list here because the other mistake that I made the day on New Year's Day is that I actually packed them all up, or not all of them, but I packed a few of them away already, and so I don't necessarily want to get them all back out again. I do have a few of them out because I'm going to continue working on them here in January, but a couple of my newer Christmas stitches that I just wanted to put away until next year, or Thanksgiving anyhow. Not next year now because it's 2025. So in Thanksgiving, at Thanksgiving of 2025, I'll pull them back out again and finish them. So to that end, I also got my Missouri Star quilt box this year for the Advent. I considered not purchasing again this year just because last year I liked some of the things, but I didn't love them. Like, I loved some of the things, but I didn't love them all. And so I really was thinking I might want to do lean more toward the cross stitch than the quilting, but I went ahead and got it again this year, and I'm pretty happy with most of the stuff. But again, this year I may change my mind sometime over the summer and actually participate in one of the stitching boxes rather than the quilt box. But in my next video, I'll show you a little bit more from the Missouri Star quilt box, as I plan on working on some of the smaller projects over the next month or two. So January, February, March. But to that end, I actually have one of the previous boxes that was a really nice suitcase box, and so some of the cross stitches that I've done for Christmas that I've already put away are actually tucked away in here, and this way the bags that I have them in will actually stay nice. And well, actually I'm looking at the top of this box right now and it's already dusty. So what I was planning was that I could put them in the box, and then this is a nice box to just be able to wipe off, whereas if I just leave them in the bags, they're going to get dirty by the time I would go to stitch on them again at Christmas. So it was just really nice. And this is not full. I still have some of them out, and even when I put them in there, it still won't be full because it's not like I have that many projects in there. I have 12. So, 12. All right. I'm going to try to put the pictures up here. So, the first one that I worked on was Mrs. Claus from the Fat Quarter Shop. So I'll have that picture here, and she actually is she's more done than what she seems like. She's got fill in on the face and fill in on the hair, And so I just decided I'm going to put her away, and she'll be a perfect project when I go to the Jingle Ball next year. And by go to, I mean when I join in on the Zoom for Jingle Ball. Or I guess it's not really Zoom, it's an Excel event. And if you're a stitcher, you know. If you're not, then it's just a giant stitching community thing. And there's different designers, and it's put on by Lindy Stitches, and all kinds of different projects, and you can meet different people, and you can chat, and all that. So, and it was pretty fun this year, so I'm thinking I'll participate again next year. A second project I worked on was Santa's House. That one I'm going to continue working on here in January, even though it's Santa's house. It seems very wintry, so I'm going to continue on that one. And what's the pertinent facts on that one? I believe it's on 40 count stream by Fiber on a Whim, and it was a piece that I got on sale through Fat Quarter Shop. It's just really adorable, and I can't wait to have it done, so I'm continuing working on that. Next one would be the Festive Forest by the Blue Flower. That was one of the projects for the Jingle Ball. So I took her class and learned how to make this, but I still haven't finished stitching it. We were calling it, it's a biscorn, it's similar to a biscornu. It's probably going to be about yay big when it gets done. About the top will be about yay large, and it's just gonna be really pretty, and so I'm gonna continue working on it. Next one that I worked on was called the North Pole Chamber of Commerce, and it was a Sue Hillis Designs. Sorry, I don't have the details in front of me, but I believe it's Sue Hillis Designs. And when I first got this chart, it was on sale at Fat Quarter Shop for like real cheap. And so I thought, oh, there's 3 patterns on there. That's really cool. And so got that. And the pattern that I most want to do is not actually the one that's in this book. So that's kind of irritating. But it's the stitch that I am working on. It's Reindeer Flying Academy, and it's cute. So, but I did not get very much of a start on it. So I went ahead and tucked it away for next year as well. Next one I worked on was Geppetto's, and it's what's the sentence on it? It says something like, "In the land of toys, every day is Saturday and Sunday." So I like that, and I love the house. It's like a gingerbready type toy store house type thing, and so I just thought it was really cute, and I got a little bit more done on that, but I do plan on putting that one away until December, or I have already put it away till December. Next one I worked on just a tiny bit. All I really managed to get finished was the car, and it's called My Christmas List. And so I've put that one away until December as well. I cannot remember the name of the designer, but I think maybe it should be in the picture here. Silver Creek, maybe? I'm not sure. Next one was actually Tree Farm by the Primitive Hare. And for this particular one, I didn't get much of a start on it, but I took some time and actually made the fabric myself. So I used my Cricut and some infusible ink, or printed out some Christmassy type words with infusible ink and did an iron-on. And I was mad at myself at first when I pulled up the heat press because it was backwards. I hadn't thought to mirror it on my paper. And so when I pulled it up, it was backwards. Well, it actually worked out perfect because it was also really dark. And so when I flipped the fabric over, it was right side, the text was readable, etc. but it was very faded, and that's actually what I was going for. In fact, I would have liked it to be a little bit more faded than what it is, so I went ahead and also soaked it in like a coffee dye type thing, and so it came out pretty good. So I actually am going to use that for the stitch, and like I said, I didn't get very much done on it, but I'm looking forward to continuing on that one with Christmas in July. So next one was Santa, Ann, and Ted by Teresa Kogut, and didn't get much further on that one. I started it this past July, and I got just a little bit more done. I think we were running into supper time at this time, and so I didn't get much more finished. So, but I'm gonna put that aside, and that's gonna be one of the ones that I'll probably work on in July. Next one was the Yule Goddess by it should be on the, it's gonna be on the picture, I'm sure. And I just, all of a sudden I cannot think of the name. I really like her too, and she was part of the Jingle Ball, and I should be on the picture. So Yule Goddess, and I just really like the nature elements to it. It might be a little bit paganish, but I just think it's cute. So and I'll probably work on that one in November to get started on before, like, in Thanksgiving time. The next one that I started to kind of work on, I didn't get very many stitches, I don't believe, but I didn't have the flosses on drops and all that, so I started working on that, and it's called Nordic Moose. It's a free chart from Zweigart. So if you go to Zweigart.com, you'd be able to find that there. And I didn't get very many stitches in it also because the chart that I printed out is extremely small. And so I have it somewhere on a thumb drive. I just didn't feel like going upstairs to get it. So I just I had to do some other things and got a few stitches in from what I could see of the pattern, and but it's probably a very small one, so I'm going to continue on that here in January. And something about it just makes me feel very wintry. So next one I worked on is called the Barn Owl, and it is actually by, all of a sudden I can't remember, but I have another pattern in front of Cottage Garden Samplings, and I believe, all of a sudden I can't remember for sure. I'm pretty sure the Barn Owl by Cottage Garden Samplings. And that one also is, it looks larger than what I think it actually is in terms of number of stitches. So I'm going to work on that here in January and probably into February with that one, because I really like it and I'd like to just go ahead and get it done. Might push it off just a little ways because I don't need it done extremely fast. So that was number 11, and the last one that I worked on in 2024 was actually the first one that I worked on in 2025, and that is the reindeer. And I should have a picture of what I had started for that night. But I've gotten just a little bit further here this week. I shouldn't say this week. It's only been a couple of days. But I've gotten just a little bit further on it. I have already made a couple of mistakes, and I am already fudging it just a little bit. But you can see I've got the horns done, and I started working on the face a little bit for the deer. And so my plan is, because I've made a couple little mistakes right in here, and so what happened is I accidentally am down further than, instead of going up with one of the rows, I went down, and so I'm down 2 stitches. So what I plan on doing with this pattern, let me see if I can show you the chart here, not the chart, but the pattern here. So I plan on finishing the deer. And then because I've made some mistakes that actually bring his horns in just a little bit further. Otherwise, if I'd done it correctly, the horns in the tree are actually forming both on the edge, exactly on the edge, and then there's some space down here by the hooves. But I've messed up, and so I think my horns are in just a little bit, and it will match up more with the hooves than it will with the tree. So I think what I'll do is finish stitching the deer, and at some point I will probably try to decide if I want to stitch this tree or not. And if I don't, what I'll probably do is put some snowflakes in there and make a smaller tree right here next to the little house. Sorry, I don't know if you can see it because I'm getting it probably a little too far away. But anyhow, I just really love this stitch, and I thought it was a perfect thing to take out 2024 and ring in 2025. He's leaping into the new year. So anyhow, that was my take on it. All right, well, that's my stitching for the last 5-6 weeks. So and a couple of them that I'm going to take here into January. Besides that, I'm going to be working on a lot of little projects from my Missouri Star quilt box. And so next time I see you, I will hopefully either be able to at least show you 1 or 2 of those projects completed, or I may just show you the box and some of the things that I'm going to start working on, because there's a lot going on here in January, and we're gonna maybe get a few days of not doing too much outdoor stuff or that sort of thing. Like, I've got to take down decorations, I got to do some things like that here this weekend, and maybe next weekend there won't be too much activity, and so I'll be able to get a little bit more done on some of my quilting projects. So alright, well, I don't think I missed anything, and I thank you for watching and listening, and please give me some comments on what you're working on. What would you pick for the background, or not background, but for the backing on these? If I go with some solid colors, I'm just curious what colors somebody would think would be the dominant one to use for the backing on these. Let me see if I can show you a little bit more of the other quilt as well. So this one I went with, so both of these panels are by Heather Peterson for Riley Blake. The fabrics that I used to go around the panel, unfortunately, I don't know the designer, because they were just fat quarters that I think this one I actually was a set of fat quarters that I got from So Yeah, and the other one was a bundle of fat quarters that I got from Fat Quarter Shop. And unfortunately, none of them had the designer name on the fat quarter. So I don't know who the designer is or what the line is. I do know that this panel was actually probably from 2022, so I had no luck in trying to find any of the fabrics that went with it. So I just kind of picked from my stash what I thought would blend. They're not perfect, but I think it ended up pretty okay. And this one is, I would call it a little bit more vintagey. The trucks and the Santas and the mailboxes are a little more on the vintage line, whereas the other one, I don't know, it's got kind of a different vintage feel to it to me, actually. The green with the snowman, the red with the snowman, it's got more of a childlike vibe to it to me. So I don't know. I haven't decided what I'm going to use for the backings yet, but please give me a comment and give me some ideas of what colors you might use, and maybe that'll help me pull from my stash, and next time I'll be able to show what I came up with. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and try to show you the other quilt just a little bit more, and then I will just kind of turn it this way. Sorry. I'm getting a little too close to the camera probably, but I'll just turn it a little bit that way. Hopefully you can see it just a little bit more. And now I'll just say thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.